I was sitting in a coffee shop this last Tuesday, and I was sitting on this big, comfy couch. It was so awesome. I was having my salted caramel mocha. So good. My little 6-year-old, Bryson, he was sitting down next to me doing his homework, oddly enough. And I was getting ready for our call, and I just was thinking, this is the life. I was thinking, this is my white couch. I wasn't on a white couch. It was green, but it was comfy. And how many of you guys went to conference last year? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. So at conference, Stephanie Dunn, our Ambassador Diamond, gave a speech. And she was sitting on this beautiful white couch. And she said, successful people sit on white couches, you guys. And she was interviewing top leaders, and they were sitting on this beautiful white couch. So I want to bring a couple leaders up here to tell us what their white couch is. Your couch may not be white. It might be green in the coffee shop with your 6-year-old. It may be something different, but you have those dreams and you have that white couch. So everybody please welcome Justine Williams, Double Diamond, and Terriana Bishop, Diamond, up to the front. To our white couches. Aren't they so cute? I see her. One of them reclined, so you know one day reclined. Okay, so welcome to our white couches, you guys. Okay, Justine, will you please tell us what your white couch looks like?
My white couch will be a little taller than this. Have a little more room for my booty. Okay, honestly, my white couch will probably not be white because it will involve a lot of acreage and a lot of animals. And we know that white couches don't go well with kids my size, like mine. So how long ago did we go to Boise? 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago, we went to a leadership retreat thing in Arizona with Boise Fuller, and I have never experienced anything like that. I've never been in a house full of like almost 30 girls for an entire weekend and had a good time, okay? But I did. There was zero drama. Zero. So that told me that when everybody is happy, nobody is trying to create drama, right? So my white couch looks a lot like a ranch with a lot of acreage and a lot of women's retreats for my friends who are happy.
So honestly, I didn't know about this. Yeah. You know, I don't know. Mine is really, my goal is to travel with my family, with my kids. So my white couch is going to be whatever these awesome hotels have, and then first class American. You know, bringing my kids. They can't be too white though, because they do have young kids. Stay white. Beach. Yeah, a beach. A beach would make an awesome white couch. As many beaches as possible. But really, that's what I've always wanted. Before I found It Works, I wanted to travel, and I didn't know how that was going to happen. And so now that I actually have the vehicle to get there, that's the plan. I want to be able to work my business wherever my booty wants to take me.
Would you guys like to stay up here in the white couch? Can I help you out of the white couch? Okay, so as today goes on, I want you guys to all be picturing what your white couch looks like. Mine is, you know, it is in a coffee shop, but I do also want to sit on those white couches on the stage at conference and tell everybody, I did this, and so can you. So as we go on, I want you to start picturing what that white couch looks like for you. So we are going to do a little icebreaker, a quick icebreaker, and so I want you to welcome Linnea up here to introduce our icebreaker. Okay, We need to try that again, you guys. So,
Did everybody get their papers handed in? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split down the middle into 2 teams. And I need a representative for each team to come up. So split Shelly over and then Ginny over this way.
Is it hard work?
So hard work. I picked Ray for our thing. Do you have a phone they can use the timer on? Sure.
Oh, we're gonna try
Team Ride Broad. Woo-hoo! Let's go.
Give us your cheerleading stuff. Ready, set, go!
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is team 1,
Oh, yeah.
this is team 2. Dre's gonna go first. She is going to draw papers out of the bowl. She has 2 minutes to do this, to see how many she can draw out and describe, and you guys have to guess them.
Well, I do not want to play this game.
You can do it! She cannot use anything that rhymes with, and she can't say the word. So you guys have to guess really fast, she has to describe really fast, to see how many you can get in 2 minutes.
We're good guessers, you guys. Okay. Ready, set,
Ready, set, go.
Valentine's Day.
hearts, candy, red, hearts. Sex.
Vehicles, car, garage.
You can say one word, you can say works on, cars.
Works on car. Hey,
Sorry, I didn't know about
Please help me.
This is an advantage.
you live in it.
Car.
Some people.
We're going there in February. School.
Nice. Teacher.
The big bald guy in back.
Who's not going to? Woo!
We're not even talking about it. Strippers. Casinos. It's a park. There's bears there. There's deer there. Jaylee and Jesse does this job.
Construction.
30 seconds.
The beautiful lady that's in back in the brown coat, writing with her green pen, looking at me. No, she's right here, staring at me, right here. Dance. What? Oh my God. The Eiffel Tower.
7,
Okay.
5, 4,
I can't, I'm done. She's counting me out. I couldn't even think of anything.
Karen, ready?
No person on that side.
Shut up, Bobby. Mark, get set,
Can we
go.
heckle? Can we heckle?
You're from the 50s.
What?
Rio. Yay. Cookie loud.
Hawaii.
Oh, you're a worm. You're a worm, you like. Ooh, occupation. Yeah, Disneyland or any of the theme parks.
Roller
That's what they're
coaster.
gonna do when they are looking at it to make sure it's safe.
Mechanic. Roller coaster
Safe.
mechanic.
Yeah.
Operated.
They want to,
Party.
close, you're getting close.
All right. Oh, everybody should be writing with one of these and taking great notes. Oh, sorry. All right, when you're sick, you go to the
Doctor.
Oh, this is a place I want to go. It's in the Caribbean.
Mediterranean, Jamaica.
It's actually a country.
Mexico.
You're close.
Bahamas.
It's West Honduras or Honduras, but I'm not going to use that one. That's where I want to go. All right. Oh, the little colored blocks that all stack together.
Lego.
Okay. and
Lego
there's a
land.
thing- There you go.
Nice. Yay.
All right. Oh, okay. I shop here all the time. It's got a blue sign. There's bad pictures on the internet all the time. Yeah, that'll do attendees. All right. Anyone that wants to be at a certain place with their kids and take care of their family is called a. Where do you live? In homemaker. There you go. All right. Ooh, this is like a motorcycle.
Your bike.
Thank you.
How many did you get? So the prizes.
What these are, what shows.
Good job.
Okay, 9.
Prizes just.
What'd you get?
We got 11.
What?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one for a reason. Like one for a reason.
Wait, you got chocolate?
Okay, way to go, you guys. Okay, so today we have a special speaker here to help us discover our superpowers. Who is excited to discover your superpowers? So Shelly G is here, and she can teach us this because she is a superwoman herself. She is CEO of Women Ignite Idaho, and in her spare time, she travels all over. She just got back from California, and she even travels internationally to coach people in business, leadership, and life. Guys, we are really, really lucky to have her here today. Not only have I attended various functions and workshops that Shelly has organized and facilitated, but she has coached me personally and helped me grow so much as a person and as a business owner. You are going to see that we are super, super blessed to have her here. Please welcome in a big, big way, Shelly G.
Oh, thank you. My shoes are fun. They're not green though. Every time I come to the work thing, I'm like, oh yeah, the green and the black. That's okay. But there's one Bronco. It's like all green, black, and a Bronco. And especially after last night, I don't know what you were thinking. But, oh, actually, we're huge Bronco fans at my house. In fact, my husband, this is a true story. He got in trouble at one of his places of employment because he created like a Bronco shrine at work. And they were like, seriously, you need to take at least 50% of that stuff home, including the Sensi warmer that was a Bronco. Sensi warmer. They were like worried about it. No, I think I'm gonna turn this off.
Can you guys hear me if I talk like this?
Yes.
No, she was gonna use the mic. Like I said, I'm gonna leave this on. I may freak you out though when I work around a little bit. Oh, I guess I could call you up. Because we'll talk about strengths today. How many of you did the Strengths Finders assessments? 2 of you. So then for the people that can't see on here, I'll just lie. Great, the whole room did their strengths. That's amazing. Now all of you online can do it too. No, this is an amazing tool, and we'll talk about this a little bit today so that you'll be excited about doing it, because I know it's like one more thing to do, right? You're like, in all my spare time, I'm going to create a half hour to go take this assessment. But I hope you're going to be so excited when we're done today that you will want to. Now, here's the thing. I do not get paid by Gallup Research Company, which is who created this assessment and puts it out. They don't pay me 1 red cent to push this assessment. I'll give you the one reason I do it. It's one of the most profound human development tools I've ever worked with or discovered. I was actually angry when I first heard about it from a good friend of mine, John Cotter. He's a builder here in town. Because I'd never heard about it before. This is like 6 years ago. And I was like, what? This international best-selling tool And here I am, a business and life coach and consultant, and I don't know about it. So as I started using it, I was super excited, but I'll tell you what's happened over the years. The more I unpack this and use it in business and in life, the more profound it proves to be all the time. I've learned so much just from using the tool with clients and even in my own life. After 9 years of marriage, I had my husband take this assessment. Now, unfortunately for him, when you're married to like a life coach, people that do personal development, can you imagine how many of these things he's taken over the years? I'm like, guess what, honey? I want you to take this. He's like, oh my gosh, another test. I'm like, this one's different. And I really believe that. I love all of them. I love the disc. I love the bank, the color code thing, all of that. They're all good. I've never found one that packs the punch that this one does as far as the information that it will give you. And here's the thing about information, especially when it comes to human beings. What it is a relationship tool. Would anybody like to have better relationships in their life? Great. She was like first. She was like, yeah, I do. So in your business and in your life, the diversity of human beings is one of the most powerful things on the planet. It's amazing, the diversity, the eclectic nature. When you get a room like this together, right? We've all been raised in different places. We've had different families. So we've been raised in different cultures. Even if those of you that were raised in Idaho, how many of you are from Idaho? A bunch of. How many of us are not from Idaho? I'm raising my hand too. Okay, so we're kind of like 50-50. But our families have beliefs, and then we have genetic dispositions, and then we have life experiences, and then we have education and training, and all of those things make up who we are, and we're so diverse. And I think we know that that's amazing, right? We're like, oh, it's so cool that we're all different. But therein lies the challenge, yes? Because you go to teach somebody how to do a rap, and they do it totally different than you, and you're like, are you out of your mind? What are you thinking? Or somebody goes to enroll somebody, or somebody goes to explain something, and we all do things really different. So it's hard to understand because we understand this one, right? We sort of, but we know, I really feel like you should tell it this way because it's from our strengths. So we're going to talk about that today because so often it's not right or wrong. I mean, unless it's an ethical issue or a moral issue, right? But our styles are all really different. And we'll talk a little bit more about why. So I like to call your strengths your superpowers because when you know them and you unlock them, they really do. In fact, Gallup has proven it. 40 years of research into this tool. So for those of you that are like, it's new, it's nonsense. 40 years of research has gone into this particular tool. Colleges are using it across the country. In fact, it is an international bestseller. It comes in Spanish too. So if you know anybody who like to take it, who's a Spanish speaker, they have that as well. But they've just found that if we can live in our strengths, if we can do our relationships, both professionally and personally, if we can do our jobs, our roles, our causes, whatever it is that you do day to day, out of your strengths, you're going to be successful, you're going to do it well, and you're going to be able to do it consistently and long-term sustainably. How many of you would like that in your business? Yeah, right? Because sometimes we can do things for a while and then we like get burnt out. Or it's just hard. It feels hard. And if it feels hard, day after day, week after week, month after month, something's not in alignment. Something's out of alignment either personally or professionally. Now that being said, can I just tell you a pet peeve of mine? When people, now I totally believe in the law of attraction. I believe in that what we think about, we manifest. Because everything that was ever created begins in the mind, yes? Apple computers, it started in your mind. Then we think about it. We either germinate, marinate in it, and then we start to speak about it, and then we start to walk into that space. So believe in the law of attraction. However, here's the thing. When people act like, oh, just think about it, and it will just come. I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, I'll just speak from personal experience. That doesn't happen to me. I gotta work my butt off. Yes? Anybody else work your butt off in this room? Absolutely. I love Les Brown, one of my favorite motivational speakers of all time. In fact, now that Zig Ziglar's passed away, I believe he's the #1 inspirational speaker in the world. And he was a mentor of mine. He does a clip, I think it's on YouTube, you should listen to it, when you're having one of those days or months where you're like, man, why is everything so hard? And he says, he's like, you know what? It's hard. It is hard. It is hard if you really have the big dream. It is hard if you really dream something bigger than the apathetic, college. You want to make a difference in people's lives. Sometimes it's hard. Not always, but you're going to have to work at it. But here's the thing, there should be a lot of bliss and joy and success along the way as well. So if that's not happening as well, it's both and, right? It's not just like it's easy and it all just comes. And it shouldn't be all bad or hard, or something's out of alignment either personally or professionally. So these strengths kind of help us look at that and go, how do I do what I do my way? You know, it's that whole Frank Sinatra thing, right? It's like my way. I'm not a carbon copy of anybody. I can't do it the way Kylie does it or anybody else. I have to do it from my strengths and my beliefs and what I'm passionate about. And that's what the Strengths Finders helps you do. So what are your strengths? You know, we're born with a lot of raw ability and talent. I believe it's God-given. Like you were born with a purpose, whether you know what it is yet or not. You were born to do something or cause something on the planet that nobody else can do in the way that you can do it. But when you're born, we don't really know how to use all of those strengths, right? They're not really strengths yet. Sometimes we kind of bumble around with this raw ability. Have you ever seen a speaker who's learning how to speak? And you can tell they've got some talent, but they're kind of falling over their words and they're umming and they're eyeing and they're kind of nervous, so you're nervous too, right? But you can see that raw ability, or you can see it in sports or music or scholastics or whatever. So then we train and we learn and we grow. Strengths don't become strengths by accident most of the time. Like we cultivate them. We learn, oh, I'm good at this. Now I get to go get training. I get to put 10,000 hours on this, which is where they say master a skill or a trade, you know, that mastery level. So it takes a lot of intentionality for it to become a strength. And oftentimes when we're little, we kind of start to figure out, we get props. Oh, she's really good at singing or dancing or speaking or selling. Any of you have little sales kids in your home? Little kids that are already salesmen, right? You can start to see these natural giftings. My son is really a salesman. He's 7, and he has sensory processing disorder. So he's my challenge, and he's amazing too. But the other day he was like, "Mom, I know why God gave you to me or gave me to you." I'm like, "Really? Why?" He said, "Because I just love you so much." It was so cute, right? It wasn't like, "What do you want?" and not buy me more Yu-Gi-Oh cards today. I'm broke. But seriously, he kills me. And he just gives me those big blue eyes, and he's got the red hair. And he's like, "And you know what else, Mom? God knew that I wouldn't sell you." Good news! I appreciate that. I would rather not be sold, so that works out really well for me. And he is. He's totally a schmoozer and a salesman, and he comes from a lot of passion, but he's also very manipulative, so I kind of get him going in the right direction. But we're born with all this natural ability, but it takes work, right, to develop that, and to also learn what our blinders are, yes? We all suck at some stuff, yes? Anybody else besides me suck at some stuff, right? And here's what we used to do wrong in the United States. We used to focus on our weaknesses. You know, we were told, okay, here's what you're good at, but here's what you stink at. You really need to work on that stuff. Now, do we need to work on some of the things that we struggle with? Yes. There's things that we can learn how to manage it better. There's tools. There's coaches. Sometimes we can hire it out, yes? I have a CPA. I don't want to do my books. Does it mean I'm not smart enough to? No, but it would take me 900 hours to do it. I would hate myself the whole time, and then I would make mistakes. This is not my thing. I don't want to be good at that. I don't want to spend any energy on that. I'm going to pay that dude $400, and that is the best money I ever spent, right? So yes, we need to work a little bit on our weaknesses. First of all, just don't be in denial about what you suck at, right? It's like, we're not masters of everything. We just can't be. So figure out the people that you need to surround you that will help you out. Maybe you can trade or hire out. But don't focus on your weaknesses. Does anybody know why? You have a guess?
Or what you focus on.
Self-defeating. What'd you say?
You are what you focus on.
You are what you focus on. What you focus on expands, yes? I suck. Yeah, who wants to do that, right? That's so motivating. How many of you know, no matter what you know, if you're not motivated and inspired, you're not going to be effective? Yeah, like when you start to lose that momentum, you could have the best product in the world and you've got a great product. I use your product. I love your product. So I mean that when I say that. I've been telling everybody else about that new swamp water you guys got. What's it called again? Greens. I love it. The Shrek water, it's awesome. It's awesome. Like it looks weird. Oh, she made it pretty. Oh, it was peach for a minute. No, but it tastes good and it's fabulous, right? You can have an amazing product. You can have these amazing bling bling shirts. You can have an awesome team, great leadership, all the tools. But if you don't want to get out of bed, is your business going to grow? No. Inspiration is really important. But you know what's true? Inspiration happens from the inside out. Nobody else can do that for you but you. And we're just going to have times when we need to pull back and process, and sometimes we go through struggles. That's normal. But if you're staying in it too long and you're marinating in it too long, you might want to reach out for some help and some encouragement, right? And find the thing that will light you up. And Strengths Finders is important because it's like if you're focusing on what you're bad at, that is not going to light you up. That's going to drain you. It's going to emotionally drain you. And you're going to feel like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm never going to be as good as so-and-so. We do the comparison thing a lot, right? We also do the projection thing, where it's like, well, for me to be good, I need to do it like her. Or if somebody's on my team, they need to do it like me. If they want to succeed, this is how I succeeded, right? Here's the challenge with projection, and we do it without even thinking about it. It's very subconscious. We know what works for us, so that's what we know. We only know what we know, right? We don't know what she's been through, what she believes, what her strengths are, unless you do the strengths test and then you know what your team's strengths are and better how to support them. But what works for me is not going to work for her because all of those things are different. My beliefs, my upbringing, my experience, and my strengths. So can we teach each other some tips and tricks? Yes, absolutely. But then you need to modify those for your strengths, okay? So let's talk about those for a little bit, the strengths. They all have a light and a dark side to them, I call it. A light and a dark side. Or Gallup calls it the balcony and the basement. So your strengths can come off like a weakness if you're not careful. That's if you're using it for the wrong reasons, if you're out of integrity with your strengths, right? I know a couple of politicians that I'm like, they have some influential strengths, but I don't know that they're really using it for the right reasons, right? So if you're overusing your strengths, if you're underusing them, or if you're not using them, that's when your strengths show up like weaknesses, okay? But if you're using them for the right reasons, and if they're dialed up, and if they're balanced, they're gonna show up as strengths. Now, will somebody still misunderstand you sometimes? Yes, they will, right? How many of you have ever felt misunderstood? This is the funny thing I noticed when I got into life coaching. Here's the story most of us have about ourselves. Nobody understands me. Nobody gets me. I'm just different. I'm just different. It's just, I don't know, I beat to a different drum. That's true about everybody. Good news. We're all the same and then we're all different, right? Everybody feels misunderstood. It really is. It's really this interesting thing. It's the story that we tell ourselves is, oh, I'm just weird and different and just a stack of cards that's been handed to me. Nobody could get me. And it pulls you back and it isolates you. We don't get a whole lot done in isolation, by the way. Now, if you need to introvert, how many introverts in the room? You recharge your battery when you're by yourself. You recharge by yourself. We got 3 or 4. Probably more. That's okay. Sometimes we all need to introvert. We need to go and process or think or sleep, meditate, do something, right? But if you isolate too long, too often, you're just going to get drained and you're not going to keep on fire like you want to in your business and your life. So the light of your strengths and the dark, I'll use myself as an example to start with. So my number one strength is called command, and they are in order. When you take the assessment, it takes 30 minutes of undivided time. You can't multitask, you can't have people talking to you. You have to duct tape your family, you have to be alone, you have to be conscious, you can't be super exhausted, like you need to be present and available and have 30 minutes of quiet time to do this test, that's all. 30 minutes of your life will change your life. $15 will change your life and your business. So that's the other reason why I promote it. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to improve my business and my life. You can do it with 30 minutes and $15. I wouldn't pass it up. And it'll give you your top 5. So my number 1 is command. So what does command sound like? Bossy. You're bossy. Sometimes, right? So that could be the shadow side of that strength, because it's like, if there's a leadership thing, I mean, I'll just like rise up to it. It's like I start rising up without even giving myself permission to. There's something innately in me since I was a child that rose up to do stuff. It's part of who I am. Now, did I have to learn how to use that correctly so I didn't completely freak everybody out? Yes, right? So I don't steamroll and kill people along the way. Yes. So I have other strengths though too. If I'm only using my command and I'm not balanced out with, I have woo. That's winning others over. Woo! We like to say those of us that have woo. So it's like charisma. It's an influential skill. Command is an executing. It's a get it done, kind of make it happen skill. I've got relator. Thank God. I can relate to different people, right? That's a relational one. So I'm really happy to have that one because I think it kind of balances some of my other ones out. I have focus and I have achiever. So focus, I can focus in on stuff, and achiever is definitely a get it done, make it happen. I want to achieve it. I want to see and measure results. So those are mine. So when they're working together at the right time, at the right place, they can be very effective. If I overuse or underuse them at any point in time, when it's being called forth, then it might show up as a weakness. So if I'm sitting at a boardroom table, right, and I've been here before with a lot of men, a lot of businessmen, and I'm one of the younger ones in the room, that kind of thing, the command may not be my best one to pull out. Right? They're going to be like, but my relator is great. Maybe my woo, because sometimes I can bring a point forward and just bring it in kind of a new, interesting way and gain influence to that point. But it's really from using those other ones in that moment, not the command. Whereas like right now, in this moment, I'm kind of using all of them, but when I first get up to the front of the room, it's kind of my command that gets me up here, right? It's kind of terrifying to talk to people, and like, you know, the minute you're up here, it's like people are judging you. It's like they're like, yeah, you know, think about your hair and your body, and what you're saying, and oh, I bet she's a handful to live with, right? It's like, our brain's just like, right? And we don't want to be judgmental, but we just kind of, our brains just go on rapid fire all the time. Here's the thing about the strengths though. Once you understand yourself, that's the first goal, but the other goal is to understand other people's strengths. As I get information and data, my understanding goes up. Good news. As my understanding and my awareness go up, what happens to judgment?
Goes down.
Automatically. It's a true story. When my husband did this after 9 years of marriage, and I saw his strengths, I went, oh, I don't totally get you. I probably never will, but I get you so much more now. I get it. We are so different, which is really the way most spouses are, right? We're so different, which is why we're attracted to one another. But those same differences make us go, really? Are you out of your mind? I mean, when it comes to a hard conversation, or the possibility that it could be a hard conversation, I'm like, oh yes, let's sit down and let's talk. And my achiever and my focus and my relator, like I'm ready to sit down, and he's like ready to go to Vegas. He's like ready to go to a comedy show and avoid it all possible because he has harmony. And I like to call it maybe an immature harmony, because it's not going to achieve harmony to just run, right? But it's coming from a good place, actually. He wants to have fun. He's like one of the most fun guys. Funny, he's hilarious, right? But he's not Mr. Let's sit down and talk about hard things. That's me. So you can see how when we work together, we honor and we respect each other's strengths, we really can get stuff done, because he can help me with stuff that he's really amazing at. But my understanding from that information went way up. My respect went up. Just knowing the context of where he's coming from now helps me a great deal. Is it still hard? Yeah, sometimes it's hard. But at least I know in my mind it's not just going, well, he's so avoidant, right? How irresponsible. We need to talk about this. Now, I wasn't saying those things out of my lips, but I was thinking them. I realized after I took the assessment, I was thinking them. What happens when you're thinking a certain thing? Does it show up? Yes. If I'm standing there saying something to you and I think something different, can you feel it? When somebody doesn't really like you or get you and they're like, hi, how are you? Right? And inside they're like, oh, I would like to be anywhere but standing over to you in this moment. Like, you can feel that, right? And it's kind of like, I stood in front of somebody, eye to eye, not saying a word, and I can feel exactly what they're thinking. If they're caring for me, if they're looking at me with understanding and compassion, I get it. And it doesn't even need words. Energy doesn't lie, I promise you. I promise you. So if you're judging a client, if you're judging somebody on your team, your family, energy doesn't lie. So what does it take for us to think different thoughts? We've got to raise that level of awareness and understanding, and that takes information. Because we can know, oh, let's not judge each other, and that sounds really great. But we judge each other, right? I went to this one personal development course. 3 months later, one of my goals was, I realized I was such a judgmental person because of all the thoughts that would just go through my brain, and I'm like, I'm going to learn how to not be a judgmental person. This is awesome, right? And by the end, I realized that's impossible. But what I realized is what you do with that judgment is really powerful. Do I just sit there and believe that nonsense that my brain is making up, of which I have no idea? I have no idea what her story is, or her reasoning, or her why. I have no idea, right? But do I let my brain go there, or do I do something different with it? Like get rid of that thought and replace it with, wow, I don't know her story, but it would really be cool to find out. So as that information comes in and that awareness goes up, you will just find it really translates into your relationships. I want to talk about a few of your strengths, those of you that did the assessment. Kindly come up. I know you did yours. Let's look at some of these. This is so interesting. I remember a few of them, but tell us your 5 in order if you remember.
I'm not sure if these are right in order, but I believe I have futuristic, achiever, focus, believe, and activator.
I wish I could see these in writing and then I'd remember. Okay, futuristic. So these people don't just see today, next month, next year. They see 20 years from now. No kidding. Like that part of her brain and her consciousness is 20 years from now. Now that sounds weird to people who are very in the moment, right? You're like, well, I can't even wrap my brain around that. That's okay. May not be your strength, but it's definitely hers. It's why part of what she projects for her business and her life is 20 years from now, what it will look like. So she's going to have a different visionary quality to her because of that than maybe somebody who doesn't have futuristic or ideation, which is kind of similar. Activator. Activator is one of those get it done, make it happen ones. In fact, one of the things Gallup says about activator is sometimes they're ready, shoot, aim. They just go. They go with it. They're like, oh, snap. I forgot to do that. Or, you know, but what's cool about them is they go, like they'll put it out there. She'll put it on Facebook. Coming on this gala in February. They have no idea where it's going to be or anything else. I just know I'm doing it. Right?
It's going to be amazing. February 13th, a week after conference, and you all should be there because it's going to be fun. We get to get dressed up, and it's going to be amazing.
Where is it?
I do have a location. It is at the Courtyard Marriott, and it's gonna be kind of like a little conference replication. So those of you who can't attend conference, it is going to be very similar to the experience that we get at conference. So I'm really excited about it.
And her focus helps her, right? Like you can see they're not separate. These strengths, another really powerful thing I learned just from using it with people is how they come together. So she can see in the future, she can focus, she can activate. So before she even knows all the details, she'll start putting it out there and going, yep, I'm going to do this. She sets her destination and then she starts to figure out how to get there. And then what were your other?
Belief.
Belief. Oh, belief. So one of the things, anybody else in the room have belief? In your top 5, you don't know, because only 3 people took the test. Okay, so here's the thing. And I snort, sorry. Here's the thing about belief people. They believe what they believe. They do not understand why you don't believe what they believe, because it's so believable, and you should believe it too. And I like to say, don't piss off belief people. Just just don't do it. They cannot fathom why you don't believe what they believe. But they're passionate about it. They're great. Now, we all have all 34, by the way. You have belief too. Some of you are like, I believe, like, just because it doesn't show up in my top 5. No, you have it. You have it. It's just that your top 5 is where you come from, the lens by which you operate the majority of the time. Do we get all of them? Focus, obviously, is what it is. So, achiever. So achievers definitely that get it done, make it happen, and they are results driven. They're results driven. So the way that they do relationships with people looks different. So we're all relational. Good news, right? We're all relational. But empathy is a different way that I do my relationships if I have empathy in my top 5 versus hers, futuristic achiever activator, right? Because she is about, one of her love languages is seeing stuff get done, right? Like doing things for other people and other people that show up in her life and actually measurable like results or encounters. That's important to her. I like to call that a value proposition to this one. So like when you know where her strengths are, if you guys do this and you have meetings together, get those big, huge labels that are not designed for name tags, but they're cool to use as name tags, and put your strengths on there. So that when you're talking to each other, you know what they're thinking instead of going, wow, she's out of her mind, or he is, whoop. You know, you can go, oh, that's like in your mind, you can factor that in and realize that's their value proposition. To them, those are some of the most important come-froms around is their come-from. Her beliefs, the future, measured results. So she's going to speak from that space. Thank you. Who else did their strengths would like to come up? Want to come up? Sure. She's like, sure, I don't know, I'll think about it on the way up there. Maybe by the time I get there, I'll be excited. How are you? Good. You're beautiful. And I love it when they have it right in front of them, because then I can look at them all at the same time. Hers, this is Kylie's mom. You guys knew that, right? Hers are so different, it's going to blow your mind. So if there were times you didn't understand Kylie when she was growing up, that never happens. But I'm just saying if it did, this would be part of the reason why. Her number 1 is restorative. Restorative. So they love her situations, people, the planet, spirituality, health. They want everything to be well. Everything. And that's her number 1. So that's a big deal to her, restorative. Number 2, we're going to look at how these work together. Empathy. Empathy. Very relational. Very relational. Restorative is too. So like her number 1 thing is people. People. She wants results, but people are more important. She wants to create income, but people are more important than serving people. Now, it doesn't mean that, like with Kylie, serving people is not more important, but the way that Kylie does that, takes care of people and serves people, is going to be directed a lot of the time more towards those action, results-oriented ways of being. Does that make sense? So the way that Glenda might talk to a client or somebody on her team is going to sound different than Kylie, because of her value proposition and her strengths. Does that make sense? 3, consistency. Good news. So she automatically is very consistent in her life. Like you can count on her. She's not going to be completely different next week from how she is today. Harmony. Oh my goodness. So here's one of the challenges when you have similar strengths is creating balance within that. She has harmony and restorative. This, I like to say, this puts those on crack. This puts those on steroids because it becomes really important to her. She wants everybody happy, well, laughing, good, and those strengths both kind of work that way. So because she has both of those in her top 5, she's very top heavy in that. So conflict is going to really bum her out when somebody's not well. And because of her empathy, put it on steroids again at another level, right? So she feels, she's a super feeler, we like to call her. She's going to feel what people are feeling or project what she thinks they might be feeling. And so she's got to really weigh through that and kind of decide how much do I take on of everybody around me? How much do I help as much as I can and then let it go? and, let them do their part. And then intellection is her number 5. So that's a strategic. It's very analytical. She likes to have the information. She likes to know why. She wants the proof. She doesn't just want to feel it, even though she has empathy. So it's kind of nice that she can round out her very relational strengths with intellection, because that kind of gives her more of a strategic viewpoint in wanting to get educated, get trained. She wants to know the facts, which is awesome. What have you found to be the downside, or the challenge about your strengths?
Well, with the empathy and everything, I really internalize what somebody else is feeling. And so if they're hurting, I just start blubbering because I can feel the pain. Yeah. And then the intellectual one, because I overthink everything, right, Justine? And so it's sometimes it's hard for me to take action because I don't have all the facts, or don't feel like I have all the facts, and I'm missing a piece of the puzzle, and I don't want to jump in and make a mistake.
Right. So did you hear that? So her intellection is she wants to know. And do we ever know all the answers? Go like this. And the minute you know it, it'll change, right? So for her, she's learned that part of the shadow side, or the challenge of the strength of intellection, is she can get stuck in analysis paralysis. Well, I just need to know more. And especially because she does not have the executing strengths. She doesn't have that achiever, activator, command, those go get it done, make it happen kind of strengths. So her intellection will weigh on her, and it's good, right? Because she wants to know her product or her service, or she wants to know the answer. This is good. The challenge can be because she needs people around her that are, get it done, make it happen, people to encourage her. Okay, let's just go. Let's go. It's okay. If somebody asks us something we don't know, we'll find out. Good news. I do it all the time. Good news. And that encourages her and kind of maybe gets her out of her head a little bit, because she's so empathetic. She cares so much about people. She might even care a lot about what they think, right? Because of that. And so therein lies the other shadow side. So people around her with a lot of influence and executing strengths would be really good for her to team with, or just have in her inner circle to help encourage her in business and in life. Awesome. Thank you. She's I want my notes, please. For intellections, I need that. I need that information. I can refer to it later. Anybody else? Strengths. Okay, come on up. Whoever wants to come up. Some of the rest of you are like, oh, I'm glad I didn't do my strengths, because now I don't have to go to the front of the room. Usually I middle around, but I'm on a leash. Oh, she wants to know what they mean. Absolutely. Her number 1 is connectedness. Number 2, activator. Number 3, ideation. Number 4, input. And number 5, command. I don't meet very many women with command. It's fabulous. Okay, so connectedness. We all have started to, I think, realize on the planet that everything's connected, right? I mean, if you're healthy and aware on any level, we've started to figure that out. But for her, it's a gift. Do you hear that? It's huge. Everything's connected. Do you say that often? Yes. Mm-hmm. So, do you hear her? She's ready to give a speech right now. Just from that one word, she's giving an inspirational speech. She could probably give a speech on any one of these. So connectedness, for them, it's a value proposition. Everything's connected. No, it's a big deal. For some people, connectedness might be down. It's oh yeah, I believe everything's connected. Sure. For her, it's let me tell you how everything's connected. It's a big deal. Activator, same as Kylie, right? She's gonna go, and it's number 2 for her. And these are in order, by the way, so it's up high. So sometimes she's just gonna go, right? Which is the good news and the tough news sometimes, because everything's connected. So when the activator goes before you're ready, sometimes you're like, oh, the ripple effect, right? But it's good because she gets out there and makes it happen. Ideation. So she's great. She'd be great to have in a mastermind to sit around coming up with ideas, because they're innovators. They have lots of ideas. Now, ideas, you can sit around and brainstorm, and a lot of ideas fall to the ground, right? But that's the point of masterminding. That's the point of brainstorming. Yeah, most of it, but that's true, right? So you can sit there and plan and dream, but that's where it all begins. That's where everything that is created in your life begins, is with the idea of it, whether it was yours or somebody else's. And for her, she has ideation, so she can come up with lots of amazing ideas. Again, we know that a lot of ideas don't happen, but that's okay. Don't put a crimp in her cheek and be like, oh, there's just no way we can do all of that. Like, she wants to be able to sit around and brainstorm for a while before you shut her down, right? She wants to have fun with that. She's gonna think about the possibility of possibilities. She's gonna just like open up gateways and go, yes, it's all connected, and look at what we can do. And then she'll be like, let's start now. And the planners in the room are like, wait, slow down. She says, I need the planner. She gets it, right? Number 4 is input. Now this is important. Input likes to receive input. So data, information, feedback, love, whatever input is, and they like to give it as well. In fact, it's important to this one that she gives her input. So her being up here right now, she has something to say, I'm sure.
It's really hard to be quiet right now. Really hard. I'm constantly, I'm like, yes, and this and that, and like, add to what you just said every sentence. I'm sorry.
That's input. So here's the challenge as we grow up in life. We get told things like this. Watch this. Have you ever been told you talk too much?
And to be quiet, yeah. And to perhaps keep my opinions to myself, which I'm not good at. And if you're familiar with this, I'm a very high EMI, so I can't stop.
What happened?
Somebody over here. We were like,
Input. Here's the thing about input. And I know this to be true. I've been in personal development now for 20 years. This is true of everybody, but people with input, if they stuff their voice. Now, she knows, even though it's really hard for her, she can't talk all the time. She can't consider her attention all the time, because she has command too. That puts her input kind of on crack, by the way. But it's important for her to have a voice in things, to at least be heard sometimes, to at least, on a team or whatever, be valued for what she thinks and, give her perspective. Of course, after we all give our perspectives, we can't always do what everybody wants to do, or we'd all be like, a bunch of foxes with our tails tied together trying to run in different directions, so that's not productive. But it's important for her to be heard. It's important for her to verbally process. And here's the other thing about that. If she doesn't, she'll get sick. She'll get physically sick. If she did what people told her to do, quit giving her opinions, shut up, stuff it. If she quit giving her opinions all the time, she would get physically sick or emotionally sick. She would get depressed. She would have anxiety. I'm telling you, these are the physical manifestations of when we block who we are. When we get out of alignment, our body will start to go, hey. And it'll start like this, good news. And then if you don't listen, it's like this. And then if you don't listen, it'll be like, okay, you're going to bed, boom, right? It'll take you out. It's very faithful. Your body, your mind, all of it, it's very connected. And it's very faithful. And it will start with little tappings so that we listen, because otherwise we just keep doing the thing that's not working. Input has to give input. Now, does she have to learn to balance those? Yes. So there are times when you get to be silent, and it's just not your turn to speak, or you're not the one, it's not your thing to speak into. Those kinds of things are true of all of our strengths. We've got to learn how to manage them and honor other people's strengths too. I know a couple, this is kind of funny, but kind of not. They both have input in their top 5. She's laughing, she knows. They are so cute. I mean, they sit there and they talk over each other the whole time. Coaching them is like the impossible dream, because they're both just in there, and you're just like, oh my Lanta. And they're fine with it, because they both got this input. But finding healthy ways to manage it and make sure that it's balanced is really important. And sometimes we overuse one because the other ones are lying dormant, or they're not as skilled. Like, she's probably used input since she was little, so she learned to speak her mind. And so she probably learned to speak well because she was speaking a lot. But there might be some of these other ones that she could learn how to use more, like ideation. She may never have been told, your ideas are brilliant. You're an innovator. You've probably got some $1 million ideas in that brain. Keep dreaming. Keep brainstorming. Don't ever let anybody tell you that's crazy, because that's what they She loves me. They told Walt Disney he was crazy. Yeah, they said, you're crazy. Are you kidding me? That idea? Adults are going to like a playground? Yeah. And it was hard to get it done, but we got it done. But he was an innovator. Don't anybody tell you you're crazy. So she can work with these and make sure that they're not acting together in such a way that they push people back. Sometimes they do. But if people are getting pushed back from you all the time, you're probably not completely in alignment with those strengths, or you may be using them for the wrong reasons. Again, command. When she's in a conversation, one or two of these might want to lead that conversation, and then sometimes I have to put certain strengths down for a nap when I'm in certain situations, right? Because they're just not as valuable. Doesn't mean they're not good, they're just not valuable in that dialogue or that arena. So I have command, but sometimes I'm just the student sitting out there taking it all in and not saying a word, and that's powerful. Because then when I go do my command, I have a lot more I can bring people. Does that make sense? So you don't have to be actively doing them all the time. That's just your come from. Thank you. I'm looking at the time, not my text messages. So do I have any questions in the room? Yes.
Does the assessment offer suggestions on how you can utilize your strengths productively?
It does. Especially if you take it and you go to it, it should email you, and I think it gives it to you at the end of the assessment as well, but it should email you the full printout. And here's the thing. If you are willing to spend, I think it's $89, unless they tweak that price too. I know they just took the top 5 from $10 to $15. If you spend $89, you can see all 34 of your strengths in order. Because the bottom 5 are sometimes as revealing as the top, right? The things we kind of go to the least often. And that will give you, that assessment, they give you a lot more information. And here's the good news too, I was telling somebody earlier, you can go online and there's a ton of information, because this is an international bestseller, so schools have used it, colleges have used it. Businesses like HP, I think HP now has their own strengths coach right in their building, a Gallup Strengths Finders coach. This is a big deal tool in corporate, in churches. Churches have unlocked this nationwide. It's one of the most profound team tools I've ever seen. So there's a lot of information online. You don't need the book. Just take the assessment, and then you can Google what are the 34 strengths, and you can read up on every one. And you can read up on what is the balcony and the shadow of each one of those strengths, and it will tell you. So like empathy, again, the shadow side of that is I can care so much, I can care too much, right? I can care to the point where it almost disables me. I can care more than you care about yourself, and that's not really productive. So, when are my strengths really valuable, not only for me, but for other people too? That's a great question. And as you begin to use them, you'll see the value. Now, if you don't use them, if you don't really study them a little bit and figure them out, most people can't even remember what theirs are. But every person I've ever worked with who uses these tools and studies them just enough to understand them, it changes their life. Let me tell you about conflict resolution with strengths. Anybody like to know how to do conflict resolution a little bit better? Like on your team or whatever? Good news, you take somebody, like 2 people are having a conflict, and you can actually sit down with them because your strengths are different than both of theirs, right? Because they're looking at each other through the lens of their strengths. So let me give you an example, responsibility. Somebody that has responsibility in their top 5, they just can't understand people with a lot of ideation and relational, and if they're not as strategic and organized and those kinds of things. So you put those strengths together, and they just look at each other, especially if they're having a challenge. They just look at each other and they're like, "You're out of your mind. You don't understand. I would have never said it that way. I would have never handled it that way." So you put a third person in there. That's helpful, unless they can work it out themselves. And that third person, if you have their strengths in front of you, now you understand how to talk to them. Okay? I sat down with a couple one time, and he had competitive in his top 5 strengths, And they were trying to date, but they were just really struggling. These are two really cool people. She just could not understand him because she was really relational and loving, kind of like Mother Teresa. And he was like the activator, competitive, go for the gold ring dude. And for somebody with competitive in their top 5, generally speaking, number 1 is the only place. That's it. That's it. It doesn't mean they're ego, narcissists. It doesn't mean that they're jerks. It's like, it is so important for them to scale to that number 1 spot. Like innately, there's something inside of them that just rises up to that. But if we're not like that and we're like really relational and we come out at a very different window, it could be like, what is wrong with you? So to have somebody else speak into them and say, here's what his strengths are, here's why he does that. He's not trying to be a stalker, he's just like, you're the gold prize, and like, you're, and she's over there going, I just, have empathy, and, we just love everybody, and that's fine too. Like I was trying to explain to him, she doesn't treat you like you're the most special guy in the universe because she loves everybody, and you, right? She's not going for the gold medal like you are, like, this is not about right or wrong. This is so critical in your business and in your life. It is not about people being right or wrong a lot of the time. It's that their come from looks and feels so different than yours. And so when I can understand, especially the closest people around me, your family, your teams, when you can understand their value propositions and where they're coming from, you will know why they're saying the things they're saying. Listen to their languaging. It's another dead giveaway. So I was consulting a spa here in town, and I was just sitting at this meeting, and they're all talking, and I had their streets right in front of me. Good news, you could do spreadsheets right from the Gallup StrengthsFinders website, easy to find. Just type it in, do a pull up, and there's a spreadsheet. You can put your team members on there. You can see where their strengths fall in the 4 categories: relational, influential, strategic, and executing. You can see how top-heavy your team is or where you're light. Fascinating. So I'm sitting there and I have this cheat sheet in front of me, right? Brilliant. If I can only have one thing, if I'm helping a company hire people, if I'm doing conflict resolution, if I'm consulting, that's the one thing. Don't give me their application, don't give me their file, don't give me their credit report, although that's pretty interesting. Give me their strengths. So this one was talking about how we've got to go get business in the door. We've got to bring in revenue. We've got to do this. And she's so passionate. I'm looking at her strengths. I'm like, yep, she's in the right role. She was in the marketing department. And then there was another person who was like the client customer service rep, also the receptionist, if you will, at the front. And she was like, we got to love on people. We got to take care of them. I mean, when they come through that door, they've got to have that experience of a lifetime. It's that whole Maya Angelou quote, Who cares what we did or what we said? It's about how we make people feel. Now, which one of them was right or wrong? Because they were like arguing which was more important.
They're both right.
They're both right. Brilliant. It's like good news. Like they were having this little loving debate, and they totally love each other, but they're like, they just think the other one's out of their minds in a way, right? The good news is both and. Perfect. This is perfect. The one that cares and loves people, like that's the forefront of her mind all the time. She should be the one speaking to that. That's her strengths. That's the guts of where she lives. And then the other one, she's one of those woo, get it done, achiever, activator, make it happen, influence people, bring money to the door people. They were just perfect. They were spot on. And yet it was like it was a debate. It's like we are fighting for the same goal. Good news. We all want the same things, but the way that we make that happen in the world, the voice that I bring, the experience I bring, the inspiration that I bring is going to look different than the way you do it. So if we can really learn how powerful the collective is, because it is all connected. She's so excited that I said that. But it is all connected. So the way that we work as a collective, I don't even care if somebody's not on your team. Right? The way that we treat each other, respect each other, resonates. I mean, it works, or whatever your cause or calling is, if it's this or something else. Like, it can really blow up in life if you learn to work and be with people in a way that you not only acknowledge and respect yourself for what you're good at and know what your blind spots are, but when we can really respect and love on other people the way that we do that, the way that we show love and respect for what they're amazing at. And together, that's how we scale. Nobody can do this alone, right? You were not born on an island. You can't do it alone. You'll get tired, right? And here's the last thing I want to say about strengths, why it's so powerful. When people unlock their superpowers, it's from the inside out. These aren't external things. This isn't clothes that we wear. This isn't like, superficial things that we learn. This is like our guts. This is a part of who we are. It's not everything, but it's a part. So when you really get somebody's superpowers, and even if you don't know what their strengths are, if you listen, you can get it. If it's information, if it's people, if it's results, you can start to get that idea. Man, we can just really work together in ways that the conflict goes down, the respect goes up, the results come in, and you're going to have long-term results that make you happy because you're operating from the inside out. You can't motivate anybody from the outside anymore. We used to try to do that authoritative top-down model, right? In the 60s and 70s kind of blew that all up. And then we tried to figure out who we were. We're a people that want to know what we know because we know it and because we believe it. So you need to find what works about this product or your calling for you. What is your why? Why are you so inspired? And when you talk to other people, help them figure out why they're so inspired by it. Because that's the space, if they operate, they're going to knock it out of the park. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, so we just saw something amazing here. How many of you, while she was talking, something really resonated with you? You may have had like an aha moment, right? So real quickly, I had this aha moment just now. This past year has been the hardest year of my life. And there was a point when I quit It Works in my heart. I still kept getting fat paychecks, which residual income is a thing, you guys. It's still awesome. But in my heart, I quit. And what happened there is I became extremely depressed and extremely sick. And I just realized today that that's because I was stuffing down what I was stopping in my strengths. I'm meant to help people find their happiness. I'm meant to activate. I'm meant to achieve. And I stopped and I became very sick. So definitely find out what your strengths are. Find out what they are so that you can harness them and work in them and grow in them. So let's give Shelly G a big round of applause. I want to just take a minute. We do need to say thank you to some people. Number one, your leadership team has arranged for Shelly to get here. You guys don't understand. The leaders in this business, the leaders here in Idaho, want what is best for you. We want you to grow. We want you to scale your business. So let's give, if you are, part of the Idaho leadership team, please stand up so we can give you a big round of applause. Kimberly, Justine, Holly, Jamie, Tiffany, Sarah, we need to thank Jenny and Jeff Wolf for allowing us to be in their home today. And I really need to thank Nicole Gidley that makes all of our electronics. It makes us able to stream live to our teams that are from afar. Let's give her a big round of applause. Okay, we are going to take a 5-10-minute break. You guys all fight over the bathrooms. We will be starting in 5-10 minutes, so make sure that you're in and out and get the things you need, stretch, and we have a lot more amazing to bring you guys. So don't leave. If you're leaving, you're crazy. And okay, 5-10 minutes. Thanks. Okay, you guys. I am super excited to introduce this amazing Emerald leader to you. She is on the cusp of diamond. She is a fierce woman who makes no excuses in her business. She is out to make a whole new life for herself and her family because she is about to have her first grandbaby. Yeah. She has gained her health back with this company so that she can be around for her grandson and has a passion to change so many lives. She exudes the meaning of one team, one mission, and has really embraced being a leader. When this woman speaks, you all should listen because she truly has a message. Everyone, please welcome Tennessee to the Are you doing Dream One Spotlight?
I am. Okay, I don't know where.
It's right there.
Okay, quick thing about dream boards, real quick. I just want you to know that, we all have these goals, but what are your goals? Your goals are your dreams. So you have to work up to, let me show you what, actually, this is actually, let me just be really quick here. When I was asked to do this, I almost had a heart attack. I am not like a super crafty person, nor am I super on it with the dream board. I have a lot of dreams and a lot of hopes and all that good stuff, but to put it out there, I'm usually saying, oh, I want this, I want that. But when you throw it out there and put it in your face and have it all over your house and around where you can see it, it makes more sense. It makes you just like go, oh crap, that's what it was. It wasn't just a thought, that's reality. This is real, this is what I want. First off, men of it works, hashtag men of it works. This is my husband's dream board. Dawn actually sat and made a dream board. This is Dawn's first dream board. This is, couldn't be any more proud about it. But, did you say something?
I want one of those too that's in the left right corner.
This is my first dream board. I did a Terry Honest last year, and no, I don't need this because I'm loud. And so, this is what it's come from. Most of this has happened, some of it has not. I got my new boots, I've got a happier life. Stop saying I can't. I'm not saying I can't anymore because you know what? I can. I'm doing it. So, and this is the recent one, and I went a little different with this one, and actually Kylie gave me a little advice on this one, and I'm kind of excited. But as I do this, I can take these off and put them in and I got a new ring in there, right here on my dream board, and I have a new car in that little envelope out there. So you can do it so many different ways, but guys, girls, do this. Put it in your house, inspire yourself, have a goal. Goals, you have to have dreams to make goals work. So your goals are gonna work you up to whatever it is that you want. If you want a new couch, start saving some money. I want that couch right there. My number one goal and dream, and I didn't have to do the work, thank God, is right here. See him? That's my grandson. Mine is spoil my grandson, leave a legacy for my children and my grandchildren, give my dogs the best life they can. These ones in the middle are for inspiration for me to really seriously think about this dream board every time I look at it. I know somebody says, give your dogs the best life they can. Well, hell, my dogs are as important to me almost as my children, right? More. But that's me, So I have these bits in the middle here to remind me, be happy. Big deal. Love myself. That is a hard one for me, and I've got it here so that I can do it. I want to be inspirational. I want to help people and make lots of friends. Those are staples. Those aren't coming off the board. They will not, except for the grandbaby, because I'm hoping to have like 20. So there should be 20 pictures on here. Putting it out there. Dawn has, if you'll see on Dawn's dream board, he's kind of like, this is Dawn's grandbaby list right here. We have no joke. We want all the kids we can get. So I realize you can do a dream board 1,000 different ways. You can do it on your phone. I know so many. I only have 5 minutes, so I'm So you can do it on your phone. You can make it on your phone. You can do whatever you want. You can stick stuff on your refrigerator if you have to. A dream board doesn't have to be just like this. It's just got to be something physical and out there and a value that you see. And then set your goals to get that. Don't get like 10 dreams and 40 goals at one time because that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. It's one at a time, maybe two if they're simple, and work up to them. Set a goal. Okay, set yourself to that and get it. So just remember that. Don't overwhelm yourself with all those. I mean, I can't go for all those, except for all those grandbabies. But but just think about that. Just make your dreams and then set your goal for the dream and go for the most achievable one first. I always say go for the most achievable goal first. I'm pretty blessed. I didn't have to work for that achievable goal. I just got to enjoy it. That's all I got. You guys just get your dream boards made.
You actually have still. She still has 30
Well,
extra
I
seconds.
know. I got lots to say.
Okay, so how many of you have a dream board? Raise your hand if you have a dream board. Okay, so actually I should say how many don't have a dream board? All right, you guys have some homework to do. Dream boards work. And I love that Tennessee has a couch on her dream board since we're talking about white couches today.
And isn't this classy? This is my first craft that's being tried thing ever with Tariana. I know it's not crafty. Not at all. Hence the what are those called? Thumbtacks. Hence that.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everyone give Tennessee one more round of applause. Okay, so how many of you have a man, special man in your life? Yeah? Okay. So generally, the first thing my husband said to me was, he was not a believer in Iraq. He said the only way to lose weight is healthy diet and exercise. He did not believe in it one bit. But he did say, if you want to do it, I'll support you. But not all husbands, not all significant others, not all spouses are supportive, right? Sometimes they have to warm up to the idea, and sometimes they never will. So we want to talk to some of these amazing men that are in our business because they really can change how we do our business. So we have one amazing man right up here. Jeff Wolf is husband to Jen Wolf. You guys, he's been what we call rewired. And I know that he's an amazing support to Jenny, so he's going to bring some men up here and tell us about being a man and it works. Give him a hand.
Okay, where she said all men when they start aren't on board, I have to say I was guilty of that. I supported her 100%. I took care of kids in the house, but I wasn't fully on board like I am now. And the difference it makes being fully on board and not it's night and day. But I am going to call up John Pilkington. He's a really I've got Roy Bullington coming up. He is executive. And I've got Roy Bound coming up. He is also
Two dude rubies up there. That's exciting. Dude rubies. Doobies. We got doobies.
All right, so first I am going to start with Roy Bullington. I'm going to let him go ahead and tell his story a little bit, and then I'm going to ask him a couple of questions.
I like that. I got in.
Because you're a rock star!
Got into business. My wife, my beautiful wife, Jody, she's was checking It Works Out, following Tennessee on Facebook, that type of thing. She was looking at getting into something, make a little bit more money to help our daughter out, who's wheelchair bound. And I don't know if you guys understand that being supported by Social Security is not a whole lot of money. So that's basically why we got into the business. I've always supported my wife's decision on jumping in. We didn't even try the product or anything. She got a hold of Tennessee, and Don, and they came over to the house, and basically they did the little party, showed us what it's about. I tried raft because I am probably one of the biggest skeptics of things. Unless I try them and they work, then I will go all in, which we did. We went and signed my wife up that day, went full board, and then approximately 2 months later, I signed up as a distributor also. I am like 200 volume away from being an executive, which will make my life believe. Yeah! That's why we got in it, and I love it. I've tried all of the products except for the
We might not try it.
so, I don't know about that one. That's the reason why we got into it, is to help our daughter out, to give her a better life, and of course to give us a better life. Because I am going to retire here soon, and hopefully we're going to have my wife retire within a year.
How have you overcome challenges in your business in the time you've been in it, and what do you do on a daily basis to try and stay focused and headed in the right direction?
If you know me, I don't focus. Challenges basically is to stay positive, because you do go through those moments where you're posting daily and you get no responses. We've been in it for almost a year, and the first 4 or 5 months, you don't get any response out of anything. And in the last month, we have, oh my God, it's exploded. We've got people who've been following us. We're like, oh, I guess posting does work. Because we do a lot of booths. I have 4 weeks of vacation at my job, and I use most of it for booths this year. And so we're getting out there. You guys keep going. If you give up, you're not going to make anything. So you just got to keep going. Yeah, you're going to see the rocky. You're going to hit those hills where you just want to say, heck with it. But if you do that, then you won't see the success. So I'm a type of person that will not give up. And you can ask my wife, I'm kind of like the stalker. I don't quit. I'm very competitive. I don't like to lose, so I don't quit.
Awesome. All right. We're going to go over to Roy Bound now. Roy, just tell us a short little story, and then we'll get on to you. Now you got it.
I kind of actually told my story a couple of times, but you're only people are here. Ginny and my second mom. Ginny's actually babysitter from years ago.
That was 5, guys.
And so Ginny had actually approached this business to Jamie and I actually a year and a half ago or so, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. And we never took advantage of that opportunity at that time. And this time, long story short, I moved from Idaho Falls to here because I have a new life, and I've been sober now a little over 2 years. With my beautiful sister and my beautiful nephew, so I wanted to start a new life, a whole new direction. And Jenny just came into my life, and then I finally got to meet Jeff later down the road as we're scrambling for catalogs and the shirts. So anyway, I wanted to start a new life, and I wanted to feel better because I always felt good, but I didn't have a clear mind. My mind wasn't clear. It wasn't focused. I wasn't there. you know, like Shelley was talking about in the moment, but like I could never get there. And then the greens just changed my life forever. I have a completely different outlook on life. This company, for those of you who are new in here, I cannot express to you the love that this place has for you. And everybody that's in everybody's business.
Go either way.
Oh, good Lord. It's your personal, your own, it works business. It's business.
Yes.
So I just had a completely different outlook on life, and I am exploding. At least I'm trying to. These little things that, you know, you may have fearful. Fear will stop you. You need to believe in yourself. So.
So we talk about everyone's journey being different in this business. Just kind of give us a little more on how you've embraced your own journey and yeah.
Yeah. So in my journey, in any of your journeys that you're going to be taking each step, one step at a time, you know, you have, well, kind of like what I was saying earlier, just believing in yourself where you can actually know that you're a success, like kind of where you're a futuristic, you know, look and see where you're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. You know, make your goals realistic, because as you get there, your journey isn't written. Your journey is your life. It's your choice, your decisions that you make on a daily basis, hourly, you know, minute. Because you never know if that person that you might be getting ready to go out there and go blitz them, but you're like, I want to go to a hi, I love your shoes. I really want to do this job. You know what I mean? It's your journey. So that's the beauty behind this company, is that you do not need to be afraid.
Perfect. Thank you, Roy. And last but not least ever is Donald Pilkington.
How y'all doing? So I'm Tennessee's husband. In case y'all don't know. I don't have a name. It's amazing. I'll tell you one story, but the Tennessee's husband, right? So I meet new people and they're like, oh, you're Tennessee's husband. Because why? Because I mean, that woman is on Facebook. She is everywhere on the internet, right? And they're like, oh, she talks about me. They'll talk to me, but she'll talk about me. And then I meet them and they're like, oh, Tennessee's husband. I have a name. Don. Don. Don's my name. There you go. Nice to meet you. I'm not Tennessee's husband, bro. I'm not. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. We got in this business because, well, Jenny, of course, I mean, right? Got in this business. We were doing a play together, and she's, her intent was to blitz my wife, right? But, well, she's scared, so she didn't do it.
I chickened out 110% with Tennessee.
So she's, so we're doing this play together, and she blitzed me. I look at this card, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Now I'll take her card, but she's cute. We're gonna play together, right? So anyway, so we go through this play more and more and more. My wife, talking to her, she's getting a little irritated, right? This girl's all bubbly, always happy, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this one, right? Well, she's always on her phone, right? So now the Tennessee's in it. She's always on her phone, right? So this is how we got mixed into it. In Tennessee, we speak to her, and Tennessee's like, multi-level marketing. Oh, right? This girl, it don't matter. She's gonna do it. Being a supportive husband. And if the guy's here or your significant other, you have to be supportive, right? I will let that girl do whatever she wants. Why? She has a vision, she has a dream. By God, if I can help her get that dream, I'm gonna do it. Take a happy man, has a happy woman, right? She's miserable. All right. So that's how we got into the business, you know. Jenny came down, sold us on this amazing product that we have. You know, we tried it, the greens saved our lives, right? I have high cholesterol, I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but, you know, the greens help mine balance everything out, help my wife's balance out, and that's why we do it. I love every product that I've tried so far. Like I said, we haven't tried estrogen, but Kelly, you never know. So that's a little back history on me. And
Hey, how does it feel to be able to dream again and actually have them in reach?
okay, so dreams. So here's a nice thing. Before, I'm the kind of person that will help you achieve your dreams, right? I never think about my own dreams. Because I never think, well, I don't have dreams, right? So Tennessee, because she likes to put me on the spot and make me do things, kind of like this guy here does too. Tell me what I'm going to do today, about what we're going to talk about. Right? All right, sweet. So it's just like, last night we're going through it, and everybody's seen my little dream board with me. And I never think about myself. Honestly, I never think about what I want or what I need. So Tennessee, she gets the magazines, right? And you go make this dream board. Really, I want to make it. Whatever. If it'll make you happy, I'll do this. Right? All right, so we're going to pop this magazine up, right? I'm going through it. The first picture I see is a, well, it's a machine gun, right? I'm a guy and I like guns. It's a Thompson 45, right? It's the old Tommy gun, right? I would love to have this, right? But you don't think about ever getting it. Yeah, you look and you dream about it, but that's the first thing I put on my dream board. And the first thing I think, they're expensive. I mean, honestly, to get one, you're talking anywhere between $12,000 and like $20,000, right? I mean, that's a house. Well, it's a small house. It's a good car. It's a good car. But you know what? I deserve that. So why do I not get it, right? Why not me? And that's the biggest thing. When we're doing this is I'm putting stuff down there, get my grandbabies on there. Why not me? And that's a question everybody needs to ask themselves. Why not you? Why not us? We can do this. So make a dream, because if you don't put it on there, you're never going to achieve it, right? Set small goals. My dream board is a simple thing. I need glasses because I can't see, so it's on there, right? It's small. We talk about it, but I'm stubborn. And I'm like, I ain't gonna need glasses. I don't need them yet. No, I do need the glasses, so it's on my dream board. Here in a month, I'm gonna go get them because, well, my wife will make me. Right? But I can scratch that off, throw it in there, and I'll have it done. And little things. And I noticed that, so the Thompson submachine guns on top, right? And I also put some little small things on there, right? Because they're achievable. If you don't have small goals, you're never gonna achieve it, and you'll never reach that big goal. Is that it? Is that with me?
All right, after we're gonna go ahead and bring Heidi back up and turn it over to her.
Let's give them one more round.
It was worth a shot.
You wanted them to clap while you bowed?
I wanted to clap.
Thank you, Don. That was amazing. And he's right, you guys. He's right. Why not you? Why not you? Why can't you have a little white couch? Why not you? You can do it. You can dream it. Next, we are going to hear from an executive leader, and her name is Jamie Dalton. And her distance from us does not stop her. She does not live in Idaho. I believe she lives in North Carolina. Yeah. She's in North Carolina, but she is still completely plugged into this business. She has built relationships with her upline, her downline, and her sidelines from afar. She has no excuse attitude, and nothing holds her back. She not only has a rapidly growing team that she focuses on, but she is the definition of one team, one mission. She dug into social media using Instagram as her biggest vehicle for touching others' lives all over the world. Jamie is a true leader and amazing friend who you will all need to get to know. So please welcome on the speaker, Jamie Dalton.
All right, Jamie, can you hear us?
I'm here.
All right, girl, you're on. Go ahead.
Awesome. So huge for the last week of the room, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'm at my Renaissance fair, so I had a couple people want me to come back and talk to them about it here. It's the last weekend, so I'm really sorry. I wanted to talk to you guys today about building emotional connections with your clients, with your customers, and with your future ones. Really, besides consistency, building that relationship is really what's going to make or break your business. I personally found, and it's been a process because I have a habit of, we have to learn from your mistakes, and we all tend to make mistakes, especially when we're new to something. But I found the best way to judge how I should be talking to somebody, how I should approach somebody, or even how I should be posting on social media, is to think if you would have a conversation with that statement in it. So for instance, if you're having coffee with a complete and total stranger, you're not going to walk up to them and be like, oh, hey, are you going to join my team? Like, they would look at you like you're crazy and be like, what? Are you serious? And probably turn around. We have to make sure that we're not in people's face. We have to build that relationship first. There's a reason why the first people who tend to join our teams are friends and family members. And that's because we've already done that. We've already built that relationship with them. So, I kind of wanted to first talk about doing this with social media, because social media is really how a good chunk of our team is building their businesses. And even a lot of the top people, for instance, Phaedra, she actually said that most of her people that she's on social media. So when you're on there, there's, I know we talked about it before, but there's the multiple kinds of posting. There's your business posting, and then there's your personal posting. And a lot of your business posts, like I said, a lot of the join my team and super salesy kind of things, they aren't going to be interacted with very well. And that's mostly just because people tend to skim over them. Think about it. When you're looking at Facebook, we know that there's ads running down the side, and we know that those ads have been catered to our taste, but we don't pay attention to them. We tend to completely and totally ignore them. So we don't want to make it so that our posts are nothing just skimmed over and ignored. We don't want people to feel like they're being sold to, because really we're in the business of building relationships. So when we're posting, like I said earlier, you want to do it as if you're in a conversation. You're going to talk. You're going to want to talk about people's successes. You want to have before and after pictures as well as personal testimonies. And you want to have it so that, especially as you're adding new people, your first interactions aren't necessarily going to be about the business. You really want to spend a lot of time. You really want to spend a lot of time building that friendship with these people first. And when you look at someone's profile for the first time, and say you just added them, it's the very first time you're looking at them, you kind of have to be a detective, and you got to figure out a way to break that ice. And this is in person as well, but it's so much easier to do this faster on social media. So if you look at them, typically you can tell if they have hobbies just by things that they're posting. You can typically tell if they're a family person or if they're business oriented. You can tell what kind of personality they have just by what kind of things show up on their Facebook wall. And I found that a great icebreaker in all, to kind of speed up the process of building that relationship, not just going through and liking and commenting on some of their posts, but actually make it intentional. So scroll through and kind of learn a little bit about this new person and send them a message on their wall. Put it up on their wall and say, I really enjoyed following you. I really admire such and such about you. And nobody's going to be offended by a compliment. And most of the people who are following them, they're going to get a good feeling about you as well. So technically, you're kind of doing your own referral system because a lot of those people will be more likely to friend you or to accept a friend request if they've liked what you said about their friend. If that makes any sense. Also, when you are doing this and working on building that relationship, you kind of have to make sure it's not a one-time thing. Because as much as it's appreciated, if we're just doing this once, they're not going to remember our name. And if you look around the room that you're in right now, there's a lot of people in there that are doing the exact same thing that you are. And there's a huge number of distributors out there, including a lot of very top leaders. And you have to make yourself stand out from everyone else. And you're going to do that by building this relationship. It's the only thing that's going to make it so that they decide to buy from you instead of buying from somebody else. When I was last night, I decided to take some time and kind of do some training and learning on myself. And I watched Madra's hour-and-a-half long, I guess, webinar. And that was kind of awesome for me because she shared the 7 main ways that she built her business. And every single way that she talked about, she specifically described how to build a relationship with your customers and with your potential from each of those things. So that was, social media. She does a blog, actually, so that she's able to do blog posts and talk about her personal life and really be able to let people see who she is. And she shares that stuff on Pinterest, and people learn that it works from her blog by following through Pinterest. Now, if you're scrolling through Pinterest, even if you're looking at weight loss stuff, more than likely the only people who are looking at It Works products on Pinterest are people who already have somebody they're thinking about signing up with or people who are already signed up. But if in your blog or your website, you are talking about your life and how it works as a part of your life, then these people are gonna look at those, especially when you're doing how-tos and, really whatever your niche is, whether it's beauty or health or anything like that. If you are blogging about that and posting on your website about that, and then if you're interacting with the people who are commenting on that or anything like that, they're you almost feel like you have a personal connection with them. It's sort of like how you can watch somebody who is a news anchor, or, a lot of us have favorite blogs, and you feel like you know that person so well, and you almost can feel like they're one of your close friends, and you've never met them. Like, that is what our presence needs to be like online, so that people can feel like they're having that relationship built with them without ever having met us in person. Because in all honesty, a lot of your customers, you're probably never going to meet in person. Really, when you've made it in this business, when it's no longer a hobby and it's actually becoming a business, that's when you're finding complete strangers. And really, building that relationship is the only way to make that happen. In person really kind of goes the same sort of way. So when you're out and about, when you're doing parties, you have to kind of, especially if you're nervous, it's almost like you have to create an alter ego. That's kind of what I end up doing. And if you hear about a lot of celebrities who are singers and that kind of thing, that's what they do. they almost create an alter ego, and practice is the only way that you're going to be able to get over the fear of breaking the ice. And I had mentioned that when you're doing social media, ice and building a relationship very quickly by, you can start doing that by going and commenting, you know, about what you admire about somebody, and how that opens up a dialogue. We can do the same thing to break the ice when you're talking to somebody and breaking them in person. So for instance, you know, if you're in a checkout line, or, you know, somebody you just happen to strike up a conversation with out and about, you can just sit there and talk to them, and once you kind of get the feel about them, you're like, you know what, I absolutely love that you have such a friendly personality. That is exactly who I'm looking for on my team. Here's my card. I would love to get a chance to sit down and have coffee with you sometime and talk about this. And, you know, while you're at it, join them on Facebook, because, again, that's going to build up that relationship even faster. The last thing I really wanted to talk about was keeping that relationship and building it even stronger. A good chunk of the time, our new loyal customers, especially when you're starting out, they tend to join, do their 90 days, and then they quit. They don't do anything else after that. Sometimes they'll keep their accounts open, but more often than not, they don't. And a lot of that is because we're not working on those relationships still. We're not still building it even stronger. Because if we're checking in with these people, and if we're still, you know, letting them know that we're watching and that we care, they're more likely to try other talk, just what they started out with, they decided they didn't like. But they're not going to ask, they're not going to comment on it, they're not going to mention, they're just going to drop, they're going to get rid of their things, and they're going to quit buying because they don't feel comfortable enough to ask. And if you don't have that relationship, more often than not, you're probably not going to feel comfortable enough to ask them either. A lot of this is just becoming familiar enough so that it's easier to ask those uncomfortable questions. You know, a lot of our products, for instance, Estro Rhythm, I bet you a good chunk of the people, distributors, have probably never sold Estro Rhythm. And it's because it's kind of an awkward conversation. But there's a lot of people, especially, you know, I have a huge number of friends who have endometriosis, and a lot of them are having to undergo surgeries that make it so that they're unable to have kids because they just physically can't handle it anymore. And a lot of times that's happening in their 20s and 30s. Estro Rhythm is perfect for them. You know, and that's kind of like an uncomfortable conversation that would be so much easier to have with somebody if you have that relationship with them. I think that's really kind of the main thing. I don't want to feel like I'm being a dead horse saying it over and over again, but really building that emotional connection, not only with your teammates, but also, you know, like I said, with your potentials and with your current customers is going to be what's going to propel your business. The past month, I have been only working for myself. I have not had any internet access besides my cell phone. And my customer base has actually doubled. And the reason why is because I am doing exactly what I am suggesting to you guys to do. I am going through, and all of these new people, I'm commenting on their stuff. And at least 5 to 10 people a day that I don't know, I'm going and I'm telling them what I admire about them. And because of that, a lot of these people are sending me random messages saying, hey, I've been seeing you post about this, I want to try it. I have a couple other friends to sell it, but I think that you get me. And so a lot of these people are choosing to sign with me instead of their friends and their family members, because they know that I'm going to take care of them and I'm listening and I'm here to help. Plus, kind of the last thing, a lot of times you have a relationship that if it's somebody who's not part of your small circle, sometimes it's easier to admit that you need help, you know? So when somebody is at that point where they feel like they are ready to lose weight or, you know, anything like that, sometimes it's really embarrassing to admit that you need help to your close friends or family members. But if it's somebody that you're friends with, that you don't have to worry about them talking to anybody else, you don't have to worry about gossiping or their business being spread everywhere, they're more likely to join you and to sign with you because they can trust you. And this whole thing, you just have to make it so that people can trust you. Really, my challenge to everybody is just to make it so that every single day, if you have a couple minutes of free time, you know, you're sitting in the carpool lane waiting for your kids, or you're on your lunch break at work, pick out a couple people, look at your messengers list on the side of Facebook, or, you know, do a search for a couple people on Instagram, or talk to whoever you're getting your food from, and reach out to a couple of people at least every day. Because that's the only way that you're going to grow is if you are reaching out to people that you already know and you're building this relationship with them. Thank you.
Awesome job. Hey, Jamie.
Okay, I just want to ask you one quick question. Okay, so today we've been talking about what our white couch looks like. So I'm just wondering, you know, some of us have a white couch that are up on the stage, you know, a conference, and someone else's white couch might be something different. So can you just take 1 minute and tell us what your white couch looks like?
Wait, hold on, not yet. Okay, now tell us.
Sorry, keep saying it one more time. It's echoing so bad that I can't take it out.
Okay, that's okay.
That's okay, Jamie.
Okay, guys, let's, so Jamie was amazing. I hope all of you guys got some good, like, I took down like 5 different things that I'm going to apply to my business. So I hope you all got tons of good information. Jamie was our speaker of the month this month. We set up an event and added everybody to it to be our speaker of the month. So you as a leader have an opportunity to do that next month. She had such good information to share. So make sure that you're watching for that invitation to be speaker of the month for next month. So right now I'm going to have Justine Williams come up here and we are going to announce some of the promotions for this month. Please give her a hand.
Sorry guys, I forgot my checklist. Just kidding, I didn't have one. So, I want to talk a little bit about this promotion because this girl, you guys know Dana Atherton. Is anybody in here? Like, you know her purple hair. She's freaking awesome. She's not here today, and I'm really sad because I wanted to actually put her on the spot. But she was really close to executive 2 months in a row, and sometimes we can get really close to our goals and chicken out, right? Anyone ever done that?
No.
So 2 months ago, Dana was, I think, 170 BB away from executive. And I was on the phone and I was calling her and I was like, hey, that coach with this, blah, blah, and she stopped talking to me. And I was like, what? And so the next day I called her and said, Dana, like, I'm sorry, I pushed you so hard. I was just excited. I wanted you to get this promotion. And she might be mad at me, but she started crying a little bit. And she was like, Justine, I don't know why. Like, I think I'm afraid of success. And I said, you know what, honey? Like, you deserve this. So the next month we were like 84 BB away. She disappeared. Last day of the month she disappeared, wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't respond to me. So the next day I called her and I said, let's meet. So we went to talk about it, of course. And we talked about it, and you know, it came very clear to me that maybe Dana's not the only one that gets really close and then decides that they don't deserve it. So, along with Dana's promotion, I want you guys to realize that you do deserve it. And Dana did deserve it, and she does. And so congratulations to her for going executive. She's doing
Okay, so last month at the 1 Team 1 Mission, I got really, really excited because the girl was 23 BB away from Ruby, so I announced her last month, and she officially hit it. It's Brittany Peterson, if you guys don't remember. She did go Ruby, she was 23 BB away, so I got really, I jumped the gun on that, but I was too excited not to. And she is in California right now, so have fun in California. Our next executive is Tina.
She left.
Oh, I'm gonna join this movie. To help.
At least she went somewhere awesome.
Okay, well, she went somewhere awesome, so I'm letting her off of the hook. But we see her next month. This is, I'll give a little bit of history on her too. I actually met Tina, actually, and I met her around Christmas last year. She had just signed up and she was getting ready to go to Australia for like a month. And so, like, she just fell off of the face of the earth, literally, for a while. So, it's kind of been an up and down process for her. And I know she's going to be okay with me telling that, because one thing that she really wanted people to realize is that it's not all candy canes and lollipops. Like, there are low moments, but it's about picking yourself back up off of the ground and going at it again. Because like Justine said, we might fall short of our goals. And she was in the same pitfall that I think so many of us find ourselves in, where we don't think that we deserve it, and we don't think that we're worthy of that success. In fact, we have these little signs going around, and that's actually what mine says. So I know a lot more people feel it than just a couple of people. And you guys, at the end of the day, you guys have an opportunity of a lifetime to go out and share, because not only are you worthy, but the people that you're sharing it with are worthy of having a good life too. So congratulations, Tina. You're not proud. Okay, I have a question for you, Miss Jenny. What does your white couch look like? Can you take a minute and tell me what your white couch looks like? My white couch is back up in Montana. Jeff and I plan to have a special needs equestrian therapy ranch and a Wounded Warrior project. And we want, okay, so I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail. Does anybody know Pete Nelson? I get 2 minutes. Does anybody know Pete Nelson, the treehouse master? Treehouse master? Yeah. Okay, so it is our white couch are those tree houses. We're gonna find a place big enough that we can have all these tree houses made, and whether we need, I mean, everything, it's gonna be our own little city in the trees. And we're gonna do all these special needs projects and all kinds of stuff, and that's where we're headed. So that's our white couch. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to take a small, short break. It's again going to be about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to be bossy and make you all get back in your seats. During this break, I would like you guys to do one thing. If you have not yet posted where you are, then it's a great opportunity to take a picture with some of your leaders, take a picture with your sidelines, your friends, and post on Facebook. And one thing you can hashtag, especially if you're a husband or a man, anytime you're doing a post with about It Works or about your life, hashtag Men of It Works. We really want to start, encompassing that. We really want to start promoting that hashtag Men of It Works, that men do this business too, or men support this business too. They're such an important part of the business. So make sure, men, when you're posting, to post hashtag Men of It Works. If you're here today and you're inspired to make a post about it, hashtag white couch. Hashtag successful people sit on white couches. Something like that. Hashtag team training. And one last announcement is you may have seen the planners. It looks like, can someone hold up your planner? Oh, yeah, Victoria has one, Trina has one, okay, Ashley has one. So, we have planners that are custom made for It Works. Back there's a few different options, and we're doing pre-orders for those. Sarah Jane Weiser, who owns Time Management, she developed these planners. They are custom to It Works. They're amazing, not only for time management, but a really great marketing tool because they have our nice lime green colors. People ask me about it all the time. It's such a great thing to tell them about my business. But she will be doing a guest speaker in our January training to teach us how to manage our time. So definitely think about investing in yourself, invest in that time planner. You can sign up for one back there. She will be doing a yearly dated planner. They're undated, so you can start at any time during the year that you want. But she will be doing yearly dated planners that are going to be available, but they have to be ordered by December 13th. So go ahead and check those out and take a 5-minute break. We'll see you back in 5 minutes.
All right. I'll show you.
To be exact. 11 wraps. So, everyone, let's give a round of applause to Holly before we do this. Everyone, hey, Holly, wait, what does your white couch look like? Okay, so I thought I had already arrived at my white couch when I got to be a stay-at-home mom, because that's all I've ever wanted, ever. And so, I had to start rethinking about my white couch, and I decided that my white couch is on stage in front of thousands of people. I don't care who you are or where we're at, I'm just gonna be on stage in front of thousands changing lives. Oh, love it. Okay, so the lucky winner of all of these wraps, this is what, $225 worth of wraps? Jody Bullington. She was last time. I watched her and she went. She's a lucky girl. Wait, Jody, you'll have to come up here. Come up here.
It comes with a price.
Okay, Jody, please take a minute and tell us about your white couch.
You got this.
My white couch is a cabin in the wilderness with my husband. Just him and I.
You're so supportive.
Thank you, Jody. Let's give her a hand. Okay, this next speaker, I am super excited to introduce. She is absolutely phenomenal, and she cares about all of you. I have seen her meet a brand new distributor and really take them under her wings. And her and I had a conversation, probably, we weren't very far into this business, probably about 6 months in this business. I was talking to her on the phone one day, and she started saying something like, "Oh, I'm just so dumb." She deflated herself. She said, "I'm so dumb." And I said, "Jenny Wolf, do not ever say that again about yourself, because you're not." And since that day, sometimes we start bringing ourselves down, even though it's not true. She is not dumb. She has built her business to triple diamonds. Like, you're not dumb if you do that. It's impressive. Absolutely. So she has just grown as this amazing, amazing leader. And so I am super excited that she's going to tell us, she's going to give us the real talk. She's going to tell us how to get to diamond. Please welcome Jenny Wolf.
We love you. I need to be a bummer and sit. So when I started preparing this, you guys, I, like Kylie said, I am going into real talk about this today. So this may ruffle a few feathers, and it probably, normally I could probably kind of assuage the ruffled feathers, but I don't feel very good today. So if I make you upset, just know that I love you, but you're gonna have to get over it. Okay, you guys, what I want to talk to you about today, when I started this business, first off, yeah, I'm a triple diamond, but I couldn't do it without the people in this room. It's not about the title. It sounds pretty, triple diamond. Hey, Jeff Wolf, I want 3 diamonds on a ring. But he's not even in here. Jeez. But you guys, people ask me all the time, how did you do it? What did you do?
3 diamonds on a ring. Just saying.
Because triple diamond sounds pretty. Anyway, people ask me all the time, what did you do? What's your secret? how did you make this happen? I had people calling me I had one lady call me from, Connecticut. And like, I'm 2 months into this business and I went diamond, right? And she calls me, she's like, what's your secret? What are you doing? And I was like, secret? I'm excited. People want to know about this and I'm telling them about it, okay? So what I had to do, first off, how many people want to go diamond in here? Woo! Okay, how many want to do it in a year? It's okay to be honest, like you don't have to feel bad if a year is your time frame. Everybody's journey is different. Okay, how many want to do it in 3 years? 3 years is fine. If that's what works for you, that's fine.
2 years and 1 month.
How many people want to do it in 2 months? Okay. Are you guys ready to hear what it's going to take for you to get there? Okay. When people ask me this, it either scares them off or it inspires them to run like crazy. You guys, I want you to realize that when Jeff and I got in this business, we were about to lose everything, okay? So that put a fire in my belly like you would not believe. I was hungry, literally. I was scared I wasn't gonna be able to feed my kids, okay? So for a long time, my white couch was just having a pantry full of food. It was having a refrigerator full so that I didn't have to worry if my kids were gonna go hungry. Okay, your white couch is going to evolve and change, but that's what started me in this. I had that fire in my belly and I started telling everybody about it. And that's what you need to do. Yes, there have been times that I chickened out on somebody. I chickened out on an emerald back there. I didn't chicken out on her husband. We had to get close really quickly because he had to haul me across stage. Yeah. Totally different story. But you guys, what it took for me to go diamond in 2 months and 17 days, first off, was absolute fate that the right people were put on my team. Okay? But you guys have to know I was gone for 2 months and 17 days from my family's life. It was a bummer in that aspect. I missed out on a couple of things, okay? I missed out on some games. I missed out on going to lunch with my kids at school for a couple of different times because they would do them once a month. But here's the thing. I would get up. I was at work at 7 o'clock every morning. I'd get off work at 4:30 in the afternoon. I would come home, eat dinner, and leave. And I wasn't home till 11:30, 12, depending on where I had to drive, whatever. Okay? It took sacrifice. Which, if you look at it now, I could consider it sacrifice back then, but really, you guys, it was an investment in our future. We could have just stayed back and I could have gone to the lunches and lost everything, or I could buckle down for these couple of months and talk to every single person God put in my path. I'm all over the place on my notes, by the way. Okay, you guys, it's truly all about mindset. Okay, if you go into this with the attitude of, with reservation on what you have to offer, if you go into this thinking that you're bugging somebody, that's what you're gonna do. And then you're gonna chicken out on them. But if you go in there with the mindset of, hey, I'm changing your life today, you are lucky. Okay? They're gonna have a different response for you. But this means that you have to be on, your on switch has to be on at all times. Okay? At the grocery store, I talk about meeting people in the bread aisle. It's a really good place. Have you ever noticed the variation of bread out there? Seriously, how many times, I can even tell you how many times I'll be sitting there in the bread aisle. I know what kind of bread I like just fine. But
I will ask that person in the aisle, have you ever tried this kind? Do you like it? You know, just create that conversation. And then, you guys, I'm always wearing an It Works shirt, or I have the Blitz card on my purse, or whatever. You can literally take that opportunity that you just made. I didn't ask them if they like that bread on accident. Ulterior motives? Yes. Okay, but you can take that relationship, that 20-second relationship that you just made, and turn it over to crack. It's not that difficult. Okay, if they say no, you're like, all right, thanks. Okay, I have to tell you guys really quickly. I don't know if you were on the team call last week, but we were talking about this. So Tennessee Pilkington went and she blitzed this lady, okay? And I'm really glad that it wasn't me.
Hobby Lobby.
Okay, so is it Hobby Lobby? This lady, she thought she was like folding the card over. She actually folded it in half and shredded it right in front of Tennessee. I was like, let me at her. I'll jump over that counter. So I'm really glad that it wasn't me on that day. But you want to know what her response was? Can I take a picture with you? You're my first no today. Mindset. Okay.
Thank you.
You guys, this business, I want you to think of it as this gold brick. Okay? Some people, you're going to walk up to people with this gold brick. And some people are going to be like, that's, what do they call it? Iron pyrite? Is that right? Is that fool's gold? Right?
Yes.
Let's go with that. Okay. People are going to convince you and try to convince you that this is fool's gold. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no worth. That what you're holding, this gift that you're holding has no worth. They're going to try and convince you of that. It's up to you to know that you know what you know about, that this gold brick is going to change your life, and it's going to change their life. And quit begging people to hold your gold brick. Quit begging people to take that gold brick from you and change their lives. If they don't want to change their lives yet, what do we always say in this business? Timing is everything, right? Timing is everything. Roy and Jamie didn't come to me for 2 years because guess what? It wasn't time. Did I keep my relationship with them? You betcha I did. And then when it was finally time, guess what happened? They came to me. I didn't even have to do the homework. Okay? I wasn't going to beg them to change their life. I was not going to beg them to get their own gold brick until they were ready. But you guys, when I got in this business, the first thing that I did not do was wait. I did not wait on somebody to show me every in and out. I can totally appreciate people that feel like they need to know every single detail inside and out. I can appreciate that. It's not me. My strength, not that. Okay? What I do, though, is, and you guys have probably heard me say it, I feel like some days I'm building the airplane while I'm already in the air. You guys, that's how I started this business. I saw what the product did, and I started talking about it. Okay? It's just like going to a movie or a good restaurant. You're going to tell your friends about it, right? You're going to tell people about it. It's the same concept. You just need to share it. You need to open up and be willing to share it at the drop of a hat. I didn't wait on my upline. I was not afraid to outgrow her. Did you guys know that you can outgrow your upline in this business? I don't know how many people I've come across lately that didn't know that. They're like, well, I didn't want to outgrow so-and-so. I'm like, why? If they're not doing something, why wouldn't you? You're not under me, you guys. I want you to think of yourself as this big root ball.
It's a fruit ball.
Jeff says I have my own dictionary.
A root ball was.
A root ball.
Yes.
A root ball. Okay, it's a ball of roots. And from it comes this incredible tree. Okay? We're the root ball. You guys are the tree. You guys are the tree. Okay? Stop waiting for me. Stop waiting for Kylie, Justine, Holly, Tariana. Okay? There are going to be days where we might be taking the day off. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and work your business. This is your business. If I would have waited on my upline, and I'm not dropping names here, but if I would have waited on her, I think maybe she did not hinder me in any way, which was good. But I knew that if I was going anywhere, I needed to get my running shoes on. And there is no problem in that, you guys. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the Christmas bonuses. Stop waiting for a promotion to be announced. Stop waiting for it. Stop waiting. You guys have every single opportunity that I had when I got in this business to go out and chase it. If you go slow, that's okay. But if you want to go fast, you better start going. I will talk to people that are like, Ginny, I want to do exactly what you did. Okay, when's your first party? 3 weeks. Wrong. Okay, you guys, if you want to get going, it's up to you to build your business. We are all here to help you as much as we possibly can. But you want to know whose shoulders this falls on? Yours. You need to take your business and you need to own it. Okay? We want that gold brick for you guys, but we're not going to beg you to take it. Okay? I literally, during this time, I had a party every single day or a one-on-one every single day for 2.5 months. Every single day. It was exhausting. You want to know how much fun I was having though? I didn't realize I was that exhausted until after I went diamond. And I literally didn't get out of bed for 2 days. And I actually, believe it or not, from the stress of just going and going and going and going, I actually broke out in hives all over my face. Thank goodness for defining job.
It was so beautiful.
It was so pretty. I have this thing, my dad is the same way. We can just break out into hives for absolutely no apparent reason at all. It's the weirdest thing. And it picked my face. Totally worth it. I would take those hives again when I go on back. They need to be a lot bigger reason now. But you guys, I mean, I seriously can barely see out of my head. That's kind of like and definitely commenting.
Beautiful from afar.
Yeah, really far. Okay, you guys, you're already on Facebook. How many play one game a day? Candy Crush. Be honest. Candy Crush. What's the other ones?
I appreciate.
I don't know.
I know there's more hands than that because I get notifications on Facebook from all of you.
I don't play any of those.
Okay. Who watches TV?
What? What was that?
Who watches TV? Okay, if you want to grow your business, why are you doing activities that don't grow your business? That make you absolutely zero money? Terry, I'm calling you out on this one. So she called me one day, and she's told this story, so I can tell it, okay? I'm allowed. I was going to. So she calls me one day, and she's like, ugh. Like, this is probably like the 10th call I've gotten, like, that started with that. And I was like, oh, here we go. And she goes, I just don't know why my business is growing.
Like again and again and again. Guys, we've been best friends for almost 20 years. I can totally wrap it up. So I was like, Tariana, wanna know what I got today? A Candy Crush invite. And it told me that you just beat level 532. She was a candy, if she could build this business on Candy Crush, she would be like diamond. Okay?
To be fair, this was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. That's why we can tell this story without crying about it now. But I told her, I said, did you know that there's actually no B in Candy Crush? And did you know that you quit wasting your time and put it toward your business? Or that it mattered? I didn't say that. I was a little more brutal. If you put it toward business building activity, guess what's going to happen? Magically, your business is going to grow. Okay? Guess what she did? She uninstalled it. She called me and told me, I just want you to know I uninstalled it. Actually, I think I hung up the phone. I hung up on her that day after saying, don't call me back until it's gone. I was done taking the calls like that. You guys, you have to be willing to help yourself. And up to that point, she wasn't. But that was a change. That was a shift for her. How long did it take you to go diamond after that? Okay. So turn off the TV. You can be like me. I actually totally went, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to be fast. Okay, I actually totally shut off TV in my house. Not very popular during football season, but I totally took it out of my house. You want to know why? Because I saw this perpetual cycle of me watching too much TV, my husband watching too much TV, my kids watching too much TV, and what does it provide? A brain suck. Zero in the business. Okay? You guys, we have every tool known to man in this business. We have blitz cards, we have online parties, we have Monday night parties, we have trainings every week. What else do we have? Phone calls. I mean, is there anything that we don't do yet? You guys, we have every opportunity available to every single one of you guys.
We have YouTube.
We have YouTube. Everything falls on your shoulders though. You're not gonna hear that phone call unless you're on a phone call. You're not gonna be needing those blitz cards unless you're using them. If you guys wanna grow your business, it falls directly on your shoulders to do so. We are here to support and back every single thing that you do. We really are, but you have to start. We are not gonna drag you up a hill. I can't cough.
Go ahead. So, the blitz cards things.
Uh-huh.
Do you just walk up and go, hey, we would like to need this? Or,
Okay,
give me something.
all right. We will discuss blitz cards in just a few minutes. Did you see what she did yesterday? 100 blitzes yesterday. You guys, at the end of the day, that's on 85. Okay? At the end of the day, it's up to you to build your business. We're all here for you. We want success for you. Sometimes we want it more than you guys want it for yourselves. Because we see what's on the other side of those trials. We see what you guys are going to gain by just getting to work. Okay? But know that no matter what, we're absolutely, totally in love with every single one of you guys. And we want to help change your family's lives too. But you gotta start. You guys have to start the cycle. Okay, so you all see what I'm talking about? Who thinks that Jenny is dumb? No. She makes up her own words. She's the bomb.com, you guys. Oh my gosh, that was good. Who is going to hold their bricks? Their bricks of gold. Man, we have bricks of gold, you guys. Okay, so this next speaker, I am super excited to introduce to you. She has built her business almost probably 99% on social media. She is, we call her the social media guru.
I call her amazing. She is my first rock star on my team, and not only is she amazing at her business, she helps other people that don't even benefit from them be amazing at theirs. She really harnesses that one team, one mission, and I'm so happy today that she's gonna not talk about social media. It's time for her to finally step out and talk about what matters. And she's gonna be telling us to let it go and that you are to blame. So let's give a round of applause for Ms. Holly Tucker.
Okay guys, so I won't lie, I'm scared shitless. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, and we always talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Getting into this business, I never thought that I would be up here talking about what I'm going to talk about. So I have this handy dandy notebook that's going to tell me everything to say because I don't want to screw it up. So first off, I want you guys to know, before I came into this business, I did not believe that my voice was supposed to be heard. I thought that I was supposed to be quiet and that my opinion didn't matter. And I want you all to know that your opinion matters and your voice needs to be heard. So whatever you feel is on your heart, you need to say it, okay? So remember this, your voice deserves to be heard. Your story needs to be told. Your wounds shall be healed and your scars shall be shown and worn off proudly. This is my scar and I'm gonna wear it forever and I'm gonna wear it proud because this is who I have unbecome and this is who I'm becoming. Woo! I could go on for hours about my childhood and how dysfunctional my family is. I could go on for days about my mom, and I could reopen the wounds that were once there. But instead, I'm going to tell you how I overcame. My story is what makes me who I am becoming, but it doesn't define who I am. The problem with most people is that we try to blame everyone else for who we are. And that's something I did for a really long time. I blamed everybody else for what I was doing and where I was at in my life. As a child, I blamed my brothers for everything, because that's what we all do as siblings, we blame the other ones. Later in my childhood, I blamed my father for the divorce and for abandoning us. As a teenager, I blamed my strict, narcissistic mother for my lack of confidence, my lack of self-worth, my bad decisions, and getting knocked up. As a young adult, I blamed God, my mother, my upbringing, and anybody else I could for the terrible life decisions I was making. As a strong, confident, gracious adult, I blame no one at all. I hope you all have a higher power. I'm gonna talk about my higher power. I believe God is the one that had that plan the whole time. Sure, I had to go through some shit to realize this plan is bigger than mine, but I got to be a part of that plan, so why waste it? So when I first started to plan this, I wanted to tell my story, but God had another message. I literally was sitting there writing this, thinking, I'm going to tell them all the terrible things that happened to me when I was a kid. That's not God's plan. His plan was to tell you something different. My story is a different set of events than yours, but the story is the same. The process is the same, and the overcoming is the same. Your rock bottom will look different than mine did, and different than the next guy's, but you will be there at some point, and that is the point where overcoming is the most important. I've hit rock bottom a lot, or at least I thought I had. Maybe I just lived there a while and didn't decide to move, but no one chose that but me. I enjoyed rock bottom. I enjoyed the temptations, I enjoyed the fun, I enjoyed the booze, the sex, and the irresponsibility. It all looked good on me, so I thought. That's why I used to wear this proudly. I looked good on me because I believed it. I believed what other people were saying. I believed that oh, you were beautiful when you're dancing on the bar, or you're beautiful behind the bar, or you look great with that booze in your hand, or the next guy that just wanted another piece of ass. To him, I was beautiful, but I believed it from all the wrong people. I had a few turning points in my life, and the biggest one was when my dad tricked me into going to church. I know you'd think that I would know that I'm going into church, but I had no idea. It was Father's Day, and there was a big, like a Father's Day church gathering. I don't know, it was like a camping trip. And he's like, hey, you want to go camping? I'm like, sure, I'll go. Can I bring beer? And he's all, there's gonna be people from church, so you might not want to do that. Keep the beer in the car. I'm like, okay, it's Father's Day, I'll go. I ended up going, and I pull up, and there's this big, huge tent, and there's band instruments, and there's people all over, there's kids everywhere, there's tents everywhere, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I thought we were going camping. So I find my dad, and I was like, so what's up? He's like, oh, we're just getting ready to go to a service. What kind of service? And he's just like, just do this for me this once. I'm like, okay, here I am, first row, right here, up front, listening to this crazy guy talk about God and how awesome he is. And I just sat there. I was like, oh, this is awkward. I go through it. We worship, we hold hands and we pray. And I look at my dad and I'm like, you're crazy. I gotta go. And this lady comes up to me, and I didn't know who she was, and I just had noticed that she was playing the guitar and leading worship. She comes up and she says, I know you don't know me, but I need to pray for you. I'm all, no, I think I'm okay. She's like, I really need to pray with you. And I'm like, okay, sure. And she's like, there's a spotlight on you the whole time, and I couldn't keep my eyes off of you. You are so broken. And at that moment, I dropped to my knees, and I started crying. She was right. I was broken. And I didn't realize that what she was telling me was that I can be fixed. I can unbecome that brokenness. I can stop being that person, and I can become someone that is worthy of being loved. At that point, I didn't feel that I was, but I wasn't. She was telling me, no matter what, no matter how far you are, deep in that rut, you're worth it. So this lady totally went out of her comfort zone, and she brought Jesus to me. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes by saying it's got to be Jesus, it's got to be God. As long as you have a higher power, somebody that you can go to spiritually, and that can be your higher power, you're going to find comfort in that. You're going to find that you are worthy of that. And so that was my biggest turning point for sure. A little bit later, and I stopped going to church, I started going to church, I stopped again. I didn't believe that church was where I was supposed to be, but I found a relationship with a higher power, and that's exactly what I needed. Another turning point for me was my niece idolized me. She watched my every move, and she wanted to be just like me. When I saw that she was turning into who I was at that point is when it all started to change. Ashton saw how I was acting, and I thought that, I didn't want anybody to turn out like me. I didn't want them to be a teen mom. I wanted them to follow their dreams and follow their goals and get where they wanted to be. Another thing was, in my parenting, I noticed I was acting like my mom. And we don't need a lot of backstory in my mom, but she was very narcissistic, very controlling, and very abusive. And I was not going to be her. I never was going to be her. And I noticed I was starting to be her, and I thought that it was bred to me. I thought that's who I was destined to be. When I learned that Jesus' forgiveness was real, when I felt free from his chains of shame, I learned to forgive. Learned to forgive what has been done to me, and I wouldn't let that hold me back any longer. I learned to forgive myself for allowing it, and I learned to forgive myself for staying there. I let go, I cried, I fell a few times, I got back up, I fell 10 more times. That's gonna happen, guys. You can keep falling down, and as long as you get back up, you're gonna get there. When I least expected it, I flew. I flew when this business hit me. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. I was free from my past. I forgave, I showed grace, and I told myself I was worth more than I ever allowed, and I believed it. But I didn't do it alone. It took God and his tribe, which is all of you. But once I made the decision to forgive, it was all on me. I can't tell you how to make yourself forgive or to move on. I can't even tell you how to make yourself believe, but you deserve that forgiveness. You deserve to know that you're worth every little bit of the success that you're not letting yourself have. I believe in you. We all believe in you. Your leaders believe in you. You are worthy, and if it helps that you have to hold on to my little bit of belief in you, when my huge belief in you. Just hold on to that for just a split second until you're ready to fly. So I want you guys to remember this. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your story needs told. Your wounds shall heal, and your scars shall be worn proudly. This is one of my favorite quotes, and I posted it this morning. The journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. Sometimes we're so focused on the end result of success, we forget that the success lies in the journey and in the progress. Without unbecoming, I don't believe you'll ever be able to become. Make it a goal to hit on your pain points, to work on yourself, and to fight your demons and wear your scars proudly. I have a few of the leaders here today that are going to come up and they're going to share their scars. They're going to wear them for you. I don't know how much time we have, but if we have a minute per person, they can kind of tell you how they unbecome what they're wearing. 30 seconds.
You guys are acting like you've never done this before. Get up here.
Here we go.
We squish.
All right, so guys, my scar is I'm a teen mom and I'm seeking approval. When I started this journey, that's all I knew. I knew that I needed to seek it because I didn't have it as a child. So I no longer seek approval because I have it right here in my heart, and I'm not going to be another statistic. I'm a college dropout. I'm also a beauty school dropout. I actually am. Like Justin was saying, I would get right up to that point. I didn't think that I deserved it. I didn't think that I was worthy of it for some reason. And those were inner demons that I've had to deal with my whole life. I always felt totally unworthy of success, and I would self-sabotage on a regular basis. People would come up to me and just tell me, oh my gosh, you look so amazing, you've been losing weight. And guess what I do? Eat ice cream. Sorry, my 30 seconds are over. But you guys, we all feel it, we've all been there, but you gotta decide that you want to change it, so.
Oh my gosh, I know, no sleep here. I look up here, we all have so much in common, but mine was, I was always told you weren't gonna go anywhere because you were a teen mom. And anyone knows me knows I'm stubborn as heck, and I proved them wrong. And I was determined that I wasn't gonna be a statistic. And I just keep pushing on. Here we are.
Mine is, I've always felt very socially awkward. I've been an introvert. And so getting out, talking in front of people, getting out and being in large groups of people, having groups of friends has always been very intimidating to me. And feel like I was meant to be in a group of amazing women like this. I've always kind of let my crappy childhood define me. I always pretend like it doesn't, but it's always kind of been there. So that's that.
You're on the leash. Y'all have to come over here. Come on over, friends.
Okay, mine too. I was a teen mom. There again, trying to overcome that, and everybody saying, you're never going to be anything. It's been a hard one for me. I kind of settled back into life, did my job, took care of the kids, didn't hang out with anybody, learn from anybody. And this business is just, I have I've learned so much, and I've had such an amazing experience overcoming, and I do my littler steps in some, but just being able to talk to strangers is huge for me. I feel like overcoming the judgments of people, and just being able to share things with people and not worry about what they think about what I'm saying is huge for me, and it's going to help people. I have a lot written on my side. I was a struggling single mom on a path of self-destruction. I was emotionally unstable, and I considered myself a black sheep of my family. I know that all of these actions now are seeking approval. And the biggest reason that I thought I was a black sheep of my family was because my sister and my mom were always telling me, you need to, you need to, you need to, and it always came across as, I'm sick, bad, and wrong, I don't deserve to be in the family. The turning point for me was when I realized that they were telling me this brutally honest truth because they believed I could be better. Not in action.
These are really good bad things. Oh my God. So I am bipolar, and that's no joke. I'm clinically diagnosed bipolar. I have a mental illness. I take medication for it. I have been in the crazy house. Like, I think that's probably not to most of you. I really haven't come out and said that to a lot of people. But I don't believe. I believe that God placed this illness in my life to help people and to draw people in and help people that wouldn't get help otherwise. So this is not a negative for me. I'm turning this into the positive. I say that I am feeling cool, bipolar. So, okay, before you go home, can someone take a picture of us with all of our awesomeness? Please.
Wait, hold it. I gotta switch my view. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Thank you. You guys rock, by the way.
Okay.